back to my channel. So a lot of tea was just spilled to me, and we got a lot to talk about in this video. So earlier I was on Reddit and I was scrolling, and somebody posted this showing that Jade's husband Chris from this season of Love During Lockup, he owes over $26,000 in child support, which I think is super messed up, because here is Jade living lavishly in a nice house with a truck and RV, a side-by-side, and here he is not even paying child support for his own daughter. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can get to the bottom of this. So I reached out to the mother of the daughter that Chris owed child support on, and her and him were married over 10 years ago. They share a daughter together. She ended up getting pregnant 1 month into their relationship, and then Chris ended up going to prison, and then he gets out, they got married, and then Chris ended up going back to prison again a couple months later. And she said that whenever Chris went to prison, he was always paying her child support, taking care of his daughter. He had a $1,000 a month child support order, and he was good about paying it. He was paying it consistently and on time until he married Jade and she took over his finances. Chris is also very mentally ill. He was diagnosed as being antisocial, and he says himself that he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and his mental illness is so severe that his mom ended up having to get a permanent legal adult guardianship over him in 2012 for not just his money but everything and all his decisions, because he was so mentally ill they did not think he was competent. So Chris has already been married 3 times. He was married to another girl named Jade, and that Jade he has tattooed on him, that's allegedly not the Jade we see on the show. That's his other wife Jade that he got tatted on him. So after Chris's mom got control of him and his finances in 2012, Chris was trying to go out and hurry up and find somebody and get married, because that's the only way that he'd be able to get checks and control of his life again. So if he's married, his wife automatically breaks that, and the courts can put a guardianship on him, but they can't with a spouse. So they would have to find whoever he's married to mentally incompetent legally, like Chris has, in order for them not to be able to have the money. So Chris has 3 children in total. He has 2 older boys. I'm not sure the whole situation with child support and everything with them, but with his daughter that he shares with his ex-wife, he is behind right now $26,000 in child support. And Jay tried to post on her Instagram, and she posted a picture of a GoFundMe saying, oh, raising money for Chris's $30,000 he owes in child support. And she posted a link, but when you click the link, it actually goes to her vintage shop that she has. And I don't think she actually has a GoFundMe. But here's some receipts. So his ex commented, maybe ask him to send money to his kids, babe. And she says he doesn't. It gets taken out of his monthly check automatically. Then she says, sorry you spent it on meth, Tracy. And if you want to see any of these receipts, all you gotta do is go to Prison Wife Survivor on Instagram. That's Chris's ex-wife. And so here's some receipts showing, okay, so he paid money from 2011 when the child support order was put in place up until he got married to Jade. And once Jade got control of his finances, she quit making payments. He didn't make any payments for years. And then suddenly, like a couple years ago, she made like 2 payments out of the whole year. And then he didn't make no payments for months and months. And then suddenly, once the show started airing back in May, June, and July, these past 3 months, she has sent $1,000 every single month. But before that, he hadn't made no payments in a minute. So it shows right here, there's a payment on July 31st, $1,000. June 20th, $1,000. May 19th, $1,000. But September 22nd, there'd been no money paid between September and between May at all. And right here it shows that he owes over $26,000. And the ex posted this on her Instagram. She says, let's be real though. Jade's projecting quite the bitter stepmom vibes after getting caught withholding my daughter's support, and the state is now taking legal action against Chris since the state has been providing assistance/welfare to his child that he is more than able to provide for, but chooses not to. And then she shows more receipts. I think these are similar to what I showed you guys earlier, but she's just replying to when Jade claims that they take the money out of his account every single month, and they can't actually garnish the money that he gets from the tribe. So in the comment earlier, we saw Jade said, oh no, the money comes out of his account every single month. And if that was the case, then why would he be behind like that? And here is his ex proving it does not come out of his check automatically, because you can see when it was paid these past 3 months, it was paid through a money order. And then she posted his ex the sarcasm article talking about the $570,000 house that Chris bought for Jade. And his ex said, imagine how embarrassing and disgusting if the facade of the new reality TV stars was shattered if they got out that this couple financially abuses his child, refusing to pay even the bare minimum child support while making false CPS reports for a child not having enough food in the house because his daughter receives food stamps. And the ex says that Jade has reported her allegedly to CPS over 20 different times, and she claims this is Jade just trying to get custody of Chris's daughter so he doesn't have to pay child support. And then she posts a screenshot from Chris showing that he owes $27,000 in child support. So Chris's daughter is not a fan of Jade either. She posted this TikTok and she says, when you find your absent father on TikTok who refuses to pay child support. And here's Jade's nice house with the side-by-side, and I'm sure the trailer and truck's there too. And she says he's literally out here calling CPS on my mom for not having enough food while she's on food stamps while Chris is not paying child support. And the ex feels like Chris just started paying child support these past 3 months once Jade started getting on the show and getting paid for the show. And a lot of it she feels like is because Jade started getting pressed about this child support and felt like this was her to show receipts like, yes, I paid the past 3 months, I'm paying my child support. But she's failing to show that he hasn't paid for years before this, even though he was getting over $12,000 a month. And according to the ex, at the end of the year, he gets a $200,000 to $300,000 bonus on top of that $12,000 a month. Sorry guys, this is a lot of receipts, but I want to make sure we get through all this. So she also posted, yes, Jade calls the cops on my child because she posted about Jade. This was 2 days ago when Jade started raging behind the scenes. Here's another thing I noticed. So his ex posted this and she says, reality. Other than the protection order I filed in 2013, I've never initiated a court action with his mom. She continues to insert herself and weaponize my children. She taught Jade well after this. And Jade's acting like she's not even cool with his mom, and his mom's snobby and gives back gifts. But here's the ex saying that here's his mom teaching behavior that Jade's now picking up on. These are comments also allegedly from Jade from a burner account saying, maybe if you're going to post about me, you can unblock me, Nikayla. Don't worry, calling the police on you guys right now. And she's talking to Chris's daughter and she says, I screen recorded all your videos and sending them to CPS to show what your mother's teaching you. And so the ex also posted and she said, fun facts. My ex receives $3,000 a year even when sitting in prison. Chris is a fourth Native American and is a member of a tribe that is very successful and wealthy in many areas, which includes the Treasure Island Casino. The money comes from per cap monthly payouts, bonuses, benefits, and incentives that all tribal members get, including Chris's mom and his kids, as they're also enrolled tribal members. Chris's mental health, co-occurring personality disorders have consequently resulted in many things over the years, including multiple financial conservatorships to help manage Chris's reckless and harmful lifestyle, adult guardianship as he was found to not have the mental capacity to make these decisions for himself, and lifetime of in and out of prison. Even though blessed with a large income, Chris continues to take which does not belong to him, from beadwork to money that our child is supposed to receive, and the only times that Chris has not been under restrictions is while he's married. Legally, the tribe cannot put those restrictions on a spouse who's not a tribal member, and that's kind of what we touched on earlier, why Chris wants to rush into getting married so quick with Jade and other girls he's been with in the past. So here's more information about the child support agreement that Chris had with his ex, and it shows right here that you currently owe the following amount of $13,000 in unpaid child support payments for the period of January 2020 through August 2022 per the Prairie Island Tribal Court child order. And the thing is, since he's in a tribe, they had to go to tribal court and handle all this. And apparently in tribal court, their rules are they give $1,000 per each kid, regardless of how much you make. Here is more receipts of a 1 month of child support that Jade ended up paying. And the ex said Jade managed 2 payments this year. And she said, but she still kept over $11,000. And the ex doesn't even know if Chris technically even fully knows if Jade's giving the money. She's convinced that Chris might think that Jade's paying his child support every month, when in reality, she's behind thousands of dollars every single year. So she did make a payment in April, but there's no payment January, February, or March. And then the ex said, surely she knows where to send law enforcement and CPS. She must know where to send the child support. Also, yes, he has paid child support the past 3 months. At least he's done that. But literally months and months before that, he didn't pay anything. He's $26,000 behind. And he gets over $200,000 to $300,000 at the end of the year just alone. He could have easily just broke off $26,000 of that and gave it and paid off all the child support he owes on his daughter. So about 7-8 years ago, Chris, while he was in prison, he was reading a newspaper article one day that was talking about this sick girl, and the family didn't have money to help her get the treatment she needed. So Chris was like, you know what, I got the extra money. He got a hold of the family, and he donated $5,000 to that sick girl. And this was a big deal because here's a prisoner donating that much money to somebody and helping a family out. So multiple news organizations wrote articles about it. And Chris, that same year that he donated that money to that girl, he allegedly stole over $25,000 in bonuses from his own daughter and barely paid child support that whole year. And here he is helping another kid out that isn't even his own child. Which, like I said, I don't want to take away from that whatsoever. But at the same time, you need to take care of your own children first before you're taking care of other people. Chris even added in that news article that talked about this good deed he did that he's wanting to find another sick family to help out and give $5,000 to. And that same exact year, he was up for resentencing for his prison sentence, and he used that good deed he did for that little girl to try to get his sentence reduced. The ex also posted about Jade calling CPS on her. So I asked, has Jade called CPS on you or called the police on you before? And she says that Jade has called CPS and law enforcement on her over 20 different times. And they're all false reports. She even sent me footage of at the court hearing where she recorded Jade admitting that she was just posting stuff to get back at this girl. And she was pretty much saying, look, if you're going to humiliate me, then I'm going to turn around and humiliate you. Because Jade was, dragging her name through the mud after Chris's ex came out was exposing Jade. I think I covered majority of all the tea I found out today. Also, I found out that apparently Jade was not Chris's original choice on who he wanted to be with. So apparently Chris was being like a little bachelor, and he tried to do like this prison bachelor thing where he was writing multiple different girls and he was gonna pick one at the end. So he was writing a handful of different girls, and at the end it came down to Jade and this other girl from Tennessee. And at the end, he ended up picking this girl from Tennessee, and she ended up getting with Chris. They were together for about 4 months, and then she just ran out on him. So allegedly after that, he ended up calling Jade back and was like, "Hey, babe, you want to still be with me or not?" And she ended up being with him, and then they ended up getting married. I think she said 7 months after that. She also shared a lot more receipts with me, but some of them had some sensitive information, or I didn't feel fully comfortable sharing them on this video just because I don't want to get in any more trouble right now with YouTube. But she had a lot of receipts to back up what she was saying. And I do want to make it clear that she did not come to me. I saw this on Reddit that Chris owed child support, and I wanted to get to the bottom of things, so I reached out and found her myself. And she was trying to be very respectful towards Chris. She had a lot of drama with Jade in the past, and they were constantly posting on each other, but she stopped doing that, and she said that she was working on herself, and she didn't want to stir the pot anymore. So a lot of the stuff that she told me, I pressed for and asked myself, and she was willing to clear the air on things. I also asked her a few other things. I said, first of all, what you see on the show, is that how Chris acts? And she says she's just seen a few clips from the show. She hasn't watched it in full. But I said, was Chris calling you every 5 minutes all day? Because on the show, he's calling her like 16, 20 times an hour. And she said, that is very much Chris. Chris does that all day. And before Jade came into Chris's life, Chris and his ex-wife were actually pretty close. They talked through messages through the prison system all the time. But once Jade came in there into Chris's life and he stopped paying child support, there started being all this drama. But that's it for this video, guys. Man, I feel like I'm still forgetting something, but I hope I covered majority of it. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.